Hello guys, this is Pete from MyJewelryBench.com. One more time, we've got another episode of Junk or Gem. This watch, beautiful Ladies Hamilton watch, just a pretty watch. It's not too extravagant, it's detailed enough to give it some interest. 14 karat gold solid case, so it is not gold filled, it is solid gold. There's a little wear in here. We're going to fix some of these little beads that have some wear on them and re-engrave those. Original gold crown. This case was engraved. Obviously it was a presentation or a gift for someone, but the watch is in just beautiful condition on the outside. I'm thinking that we're going to do a restoration on this watch. I'm going to change the band. I'm going to put a new band on it because it needs a new band. But one of the things that I want you to take a note of and be aware of is, this watch, very, very, very small. You can see by the size of my finger, this lady's watch is tiny. And I'm going to compare it to this 18 size pocket watch. And I'm just going to really quickly explain the reason why I like to have students start on a pocket watch is because you can get the feel for each of the parts and you can see them very easily. Once we break down this lady's wristwatch, what you're going to notice is that, God, these parts are tiny, and you really have to take your time and focus with the movement when you're cleaning it. Okay, let's first get a parts tray and get ready to store all parts. The next thing we're going to do is decase the watch. On these small ladies' watches, there's usually a little tab that you can lift up with a pry bar or a screwdriver, and that'll remove the front cover. And use a protective plastic baggie to remove the hands. Remember, some of these dials are metal and they're painted. They will scratch easy. Don't be too worried if decasing the watch takes a little bit of an effort. You want to be careful, take your time. You don't want to do any damage to the watch. Just taking a look at the case, the front and back. Next thing we want to do is loosen the two screws that hold the dial in place. Those dial screws come out pretty easy, so you're only going to turn them about 1 or 2 turns to make sure the dial is loose. Should be one on each side, and then you can pry the dial off very carefully. Remember, it's painted, so you want to be careful with it. We're going to pull out the gears. That's the hour wheel. Now we're going to grab the I usually like to take the cannon pinion off, but I didn't here. Just taking a quick look at the movement. It's a Hamilton 17 jewel 995A. Okay, so now we're going to take out the balance cock and balance wheel. Be very careful when you're taking out the balance cock because the hairspring that holds the balance wheel to the cock is very, very fine in this watch. Very, very small. It's actually more delicate than a lady's Rolex watch. Now let's grab the pallet bridge and the pallet fork. Sometimes when you remove the pallet fork, if the spring has any wind to it, the train will unwind. You might see that when I pull the pallet fork out here. Now we've got to pull the main wheel out for the mainspring. And the clutch gear. Now this gear Remember, this is a reverse thread screw, so you're going to turn it clockwise to unwind it. And now we'll start moving the bridges out. The main bridge for the first wheel and the balance, or the mainspring barrel. Remove all those 3 screws and pull that bridge off very gently. The clutch screw is still mounted in the watch. We're going to leave it there. Put that aside and pull the main spring barrel out. And the rest of the train will get removed by removing the second bridge. Now let's get the train gears out, one at a time, and put those aside in our parts tray and prepare them for cleaning. And here we're going to grab the cannon pinion and remove the first wheel. When you take the cannon pinion off, if you're not using a cannon pinion puller and you're using your tweezers like I just did, just remember to lift straight up on that. Here we're just going to open up the mainspring barrel, put a little pressure down on our foam pad, and it'll pop open. And you can see the old spring. The spring isn't broken, but it's pretty old. Everything else looks good, so I'm going to take the spring out. I've got a new spring. This spring's from the 40s. It matches this watch. So I've already inserted it, and now I'm reassembling the mainspring barrel here. Once I realized that I've got the pinion upside down, I did turn it around, put it in the right way, and it went back together. If you like these Junk and Gems or Junker Gems videos, I hope you give me a thumbs up. Share these. The more you share them, the more thumbs ups I get. My channel gets a little more response. So anything you can do to help me, I'd appreciate it. And we're just going to close up the mainspring barrel with a new spring in it. I didn't go through this whole process. I've covered it several times in some previous videos, so go back and take a look at mainspring changing and pocket watches. It's the same thing. You've even got one that covers a Rolex watch, which is very similar to this. You're going to use your watch winder. Here we're just reassembling the watch. I cleaned all the parts and examined them off camera. I didn't want to bore you with that. So let's just get these cleaned parts all back into the watch, one at a time. They go back in a specific order. We've got the movement upside down, so you're going to look at this in the perspective of whatever gear goes in the bottom would go in first. And once we get the train back in position, we'll start putting the bridges on top and make sure the pinions are all lined up with the jewels. Make sure there's no friction or damage. It's also a good time to examine things. Now here you can see I've got the main barrel bridge on the watch. I've got the gears in place. I'm going to throw the screws in there. We're going to tighten this up a little bit, not fully, because we don't want to cause any damage until we've checked the movement for proper operation. Again, I do want to emphasize it's important that you get each of these screws in. When you're putting them in, turn your screwdriver counterclockwise a little bit so that the screwdriver or the threads of the screw align properly. Sometimes that makes it easier. Make sure you don't strip a thread. And don't tighten them all the way down at first. When we get the entire train and all the bridges put in place, Then we'll test the gears and make sure they're properly seated into the jewels, and then we'll tighten everything down. Here we're putting in the second bridge, and that encompasses the third wheel and the escape wheel. And reassembling a ladies' watch of this era is one of the hardest jobs that I've encountered. Once everything falls into place, though, it's very rewarding. And we're just tightening up these last few screws. Not all the way. Now I'm just checking the movement. Everything's working good. And I'll finish up by tightening all the bridge screws down. And then here we're going to oil everything. Make sure that each jewel has not a generous amount of oil, just enough oil to keep it working smoothly. Too much oil can actually cause a lot of friction on a watch. Over time, you'll learn just how much to use for each size of jewel and pinion you have. Now here what I'm doing is actually putting in the balance cock with the balance wheel and hairspring attached. And the reason I'm doing this without the pallet fork in place is I want to check and make sure that the hairspring and the balance wheel operate properly. And as you see, it's swinging freely. There's no obstructions. And that means I can move on to the next step, installing the pallet fork. Well, here I'm going to actually put in the main gear. Remember, the screw is a regular screw thread. Now we'll put in the clutch gear, and this is the reverse thread, so you're going to tighten this by turning it counterclockwise. This will allow me to use the crown to see if the spring is working properly and the train moves when I wind the spring. And as you see, it's working good. Now it's time for the pallet fork. Let me give that a little bit of oil and get that pallet fork aligned into its jeweled position. This is a little tricky. These are, again, they're small parts. The smaller the part, the harder it's going to be. Once you get it aligned right, sometimes you might want to have a higher magnifier lens or a microscope to make sure that you've got it set up correctly. Once you've got that aligned, then you can get the screw in and hold the pallet bridge in place. Sometimes when you're tightening up the screw, you might find that the bridge loosens up or that you kink it to one side or the other and it comes out of position. If it does that, stop trying to tighten the screw and make sure that the pallet fork and the bridge are aligned correctly so that you don't damage its pinion. And mechanically, the last step is to make sure that the balance goes in properly. We know it worked freely before, so we should be able to get this in position. Give that balance wheel just a little turn, and it should take off all by itself. And with that new mainspring, this watch is running pretty good. Sorry about the off-camera view here. I'm just putting the screw onto the balance cock, and we're going to tighten that up. If you want to see more of these videos, please subscribe to my channel. I try to put up at least one video a week. I've been doing 2 a week pretty much since December. And if these come in handy for you and you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. With the canyon pinion back on, we'll put the hour wheel here and make sure that's aligned correctly. Now it's time to put our dial on. So you're going to loosen those 2 dial screws. We tightened them before cleaning, so I want to loosen them to make sure the dial goes on properly. Just handle that dial carefully, because again, it's a metal dial that's been painted, and that paint scratches off pretty easy. With the dial in position, we'll tighten both dial screws, and that'll hold the dial feet in position. Looks pretty good. Now it's time to put the hands on. First hand you set is the hour hand. Put that onto the hour wheel. Just press down very gently. All the tools that I'm using in this video are going to be in the description below, with links to my Amazon affiliate links. I do get a small commission when you do buy something from these links, and it's a very small commission. Anything that I get goes to producing these videos, so keep that in mind. It helps. Doesn't cost you a thing. Well, with the hour wheel set to the 3 o'clock position, I'm going to insert the minute hand here, and we're just going to align that so it's facing the 12 o'clock position, and then I'm going to push that onto the cannon pinion. Always check for clearance once the hands are in place, and make sure that the hands aren't rubbing. And now it's time to recase the watch. I've cleaned and polished the case. It looks really good. It's a beautiful 14 karat gold case. It's somewhat well taken care of. There's a few signs of wear here and there, but I think for the most part it looks really good. I'm just going to set the time, wind the watch a little bit, and this should work really well. Well guys, that's it for this episode of Junk or Gems. I looked up the price of this watch. If they put a vintage band on it with a solid gold watch running in perfect condition, this watch was tested and timed. It does run really, really well for its age. This watch is worth about $600. That's not too bad. I hope to get it. We'll see what happens. I'll keep you up to date. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more, if you find these helpful. If you are interested in purchasing any of the tools that I used in this video, you can check out the link to the website where the tools are, or you can click on the links below. They are Amazon affiliate links, and I do get a small commission when you do buy them. Doesn't cost you a thing. This is a viewer-supported channel, so if you want to help support this channel, you can do so at our Patreon page. Become a Patreon member, and in about a month I'm going to be doing some more giveaways, so I hope you guys check it out there, and have a great day. Happy watch hunting. Thanks for watching.